Welcome back to day 4 of building a house a day. I'm so excited to get into this one. This time I am thinking of doing a mushroom house, and I have some inspiration pictures pulled up here, but for the most part we're kind of just gonna go for it and see what happens, just like always, and maybe take some inspiration from a few of the other ones we did. So if you haven't seen those other videos, just go take a look at those really quickly and catch up with those. With that said, let's start into the base foundation, just like always, and from there we will start texturing and adding detail, the whole shebang, just what we normally do. The first thing that I'm thinking of doing is just starting with this wall. I want this build to be a circular build, which I've heard in Minecraft can be a pretty challenging thing to do. So I am a little bit worried about that, but I'm sure it will be fine. And I do want to do, because it is a circle, some sort of Hobbit holy vibe front. So for the entrance, I'm going to contrast it with this darker wood because I've seen a lot of people do the birch wood and spruce stairs. So I'm thinking if I just play around, maybe not that way, if I just play around with these stairs and maybe some of the slabs as well, that I can make some sort of circular thing here to frame the entrance. That said, I am super thrilled that they added these shelves into the game. They're literally like a detailer's best weapon ever. Then again, I'm not too sure how that looks, which it's supposed to be a spruce shelf, but it kind of looks different than that texture. Anyways, I'm sure it'll look fine. Let's add, I think, maybe like some stairs here. We can't necessarily completely round this out. Maybe we do... I'm trying to think, because we can't necessarily do a slab upwards. That's basically what the vertical shelves are. But what if we added this on the side? Yeah, see, that gives it a little bit more of a rounded. Okay, let me pause really quick and get rid of this rain. Yeah, let's add the trapdoor on this side, and then I'm thinking that's a little bit much. So what if I added it there, and then maybe just the trapdoor on that as well? No, I'm thinking we're just gonna have to get over the fact that it pokes out a little bit too much. For that, yeah, okay. I'm liking how that's starting out. Maybe we need to indent this part of the wall a little bit and put it right here. That way we have a little bit more dimension, and we can do these trap doors all around here. Just like that. So then when you come back here, it gives a little bit more shape to it. Oh, we're gonna have to put some there as well. Perfect. And then what if we change this door to a spruce door? Yeah, there we go. That works. And then we need to build the outline of the house. I'm gonna do that really quickly and just speed up the video, and I'll come back to you after that. Looking at this, I'm a little bit concerned that that's not going to work for the roof, just because this main wall is 5 blocks long and this main wall is 3. The reason that I did this 3 blocks is to try to mimic the actual front door, because I was thinking that's where the roof is going to start. That said, I'm not too sure if we're going to keep that, so we might end up changing that in the coming future for it, but I'm going to kind of do the outline of the roof here really fast and see, I don't even know, some sort of shape we can get. I do want it to be mushroomy for sure, but we're going to go into here and grab all of these red blocks that I need in order to do this and go ahead and make the outline for that roof. Here's the first layer of that roof that I was talking about. I know I said I'd speed it up, but we're going to talk through this a little bit because I have no idea what I'm doing. Especially because the 3 thing that I mentioned is what's happening here. And I'm thinking I'm gonna need to just start that line there. and then maybe kind of just do what a normal roof does and go up by one, and then extend that. Oh, no, not right there. Extend that throughout all of the 4 different sides. Just like that, we have all of the sides done. Now I have to figure out what the heck to do with this. The couple inspiration pictures that I have of mushroom houses are very carefully detailed on these corners, especially because it's a circular build. So I think I have to be super careful with what I do. I'm thinking I'm just gonna have to start placing blocks, and I might even get rid of these. I don't even know, but I'm just gonna play around with trying to make this as round as I can, considering it's Minecraft and most of the blocks are square. Just like I expected, filling this part in definitely makes it look more like a square. I need to figure out a way to pull this out a little bit, and I'm thinking the first way to do that is by pulling the bottom part out more, and then kind of just extending it upwards, if that makes sense. Something like that, maybe, and then this part still needs to come out more for sure. Yeah, a little bit more like this, and then I'm gonna add in more variation in the blocks, I think. I wonder if I get rid of those. Does that do anything? Maybe back up there. Yeah, okay, maybe I just stick with full block then, for now. Let's do this side, see if I can replicate it. I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to, honestly. I think it's just 3 blocks, 2 blocks, yeah, so it's just a pyramid. And then we have to add these blocks back in. Perfect. Do the same for this side as well. Oh, interesting. This one only has 1. Crap. I wonder if it's going to be like that for that other side. Let's just put these in and see. Fill in the roof. Oh, yeah. Okay. Wait. I think I did something wrong. Oh, no. Yep. I definitely did something wrong. This is supposed to only be 3, so this is supposed to come in 1 more, I believe. And then, so it's this. Ah, there we go. Okay. Wait, now this is 2. Oh boy. What did I mess up on? So this is 3. This is supposed to be 3, but if I do 3 here, then the front isn't right. But those 2 blocks can't be there because the other 2 blocks aren't there. Because that's supposed to have 2. Then again, I could literally just add those 2 in and have them be different. And then have the front literally just be that. I think that's what's gonna have to be. And then the back 2 sides are going to look like this. Okay, yeah. No, I can get behind that. It's not too noticeable, especially if I'm not looking for it. The next thing that is on the docket, we need to add some variation. That's the first block that I thought of, just because it's the closest thing to mangrove that I can find, at least in the terracotta concrete section. So if you guys have any suggestions, I guess I could use shulker boxes. I've seen a lot of people do that too. But if you have any suggestions, let me know. I'm always happy to learn. But as for now, let's just go through and add some of these blocks throughout the roof. And just like that, the red is done. Now I have to add in a little bit of white because all of the mushrooms that I've seen, at least the drawn or depicted ones, I don't know what I'm saying. Now I need to go in and add the white spots for the mushroom. It's seeming like they are pretty close to the other red things. Other red spots, so I'm thinking if I just add them here and there next to each of these red ones, for the most part that is, then it should, wow, mouse just freaked out, then it should work out okay. And then if I put one there, maybe in this area, maybe we add double over here. Maybe add one there. Actually, no, I'm gonna add this one down. Yeah, that's better. I don't know if that was... I actually don't know if that was red. Is this... Ah, yeah, there we go. There we go. Now it's starting to look a little bit more mushroomy. Now I feel like we need to add a few, maybe just stairs in there to add some variance, some differences throughout. Okay, so if we add one here... Okay... I'm just gonna go and do that really quickly. And there you have it. That is the first part of the mushroom house. I'm not completely in love with how this is. I am thinking that maybe adding one more layer up here would either make or break it. So I'm gonna do that really quickly, just because I'm curious, not because I'm going to keep it. But if I did add this one more layer up here, what would that look like? Yeah, okay, that is actually 100 times better. The thing that's kind of throwing me off now is the difference between all of the red and white and the not maroon, mangrove blocks. I don't understand how people do this. This is crazy. Okay, I'm just gonna leave that for now and then maybe do a bit of detailing with the stairs and the slabs with the birch, and then also let's add in some windows as well, just to the side. Oh, look how cute! Okay, that made it like 10 times better. We're gonna add these around to every single side. Just like that. Oh, it's so much cuter with the windows. And then I'm thinking, ooh, chimney. Yes. Okay, so do you see all the way down there? I can't really zoom in, but do you see all the way down there with the chimney? I'm going to do the same, well, not same, similar thing and do a chimney here, but this time I'm going to do, I know I want to put it on the left side. I'm going to alternate different blocks with this and maybe put that there, just like that. Okay, and then I need to get a campfire. Let's use trapdoors. Again, same thing as the other one, but with different blocks. Yay, okay, just like that. That's perfect. And then I want to add some signs. This is not in any of my inspiration pictures, but I think it could look cool. So we're going to add a couple signs on the side of this just as extra support detail. Yeah, okay, just like that. What if I changed where these blocks are? So what if I put this here, put that here, and then another one in here, kind of showing that it goes into the house, even though it doesn't. That is a very skinny chimney, but you know what? I'm behind it. It's gonna have to work. You know, it's fine. It's fine. A lot of things that I also see are buttons as details, so I'm gonna add some mango buttons in here. I don't even know how this is supposed to work or if it's supposed to look good or anything, but you know what? We are going to put them in, and you can't even see them. Cool. So we're gonna keep them because they are a cool detail. Yeah, no, we're not gonna put that there. We're gonna put that there. Just kind of spread these around the place. Perfect. You can hardly tell they're there, but detail. Oh, wow, my brain stopped working for a minute. Let's go around the house and add a little bit more detail to the walls too, because the walls can be super boring, and I don't want them to be super boring. And we are going to do that by adding different variation and different textures. If I can get into here. Oh my goodness. There we go. So much better. Yeah, okay. See, now that we're starting to add the stairs, it almost complements with this front part and makes it a little bit more rounded out, which is what we are going for. Not terrible. What if we started using different... Oh, yep, there it is. Different blocks as, like, supporting blocks. We could also use it, like, over here by the windows or something like that. That's just extra support. Just like that. And then I'm thinking, how can I make these a little bit more rounded as well? maybe adding the stairs here and doing the same thing that we did at the beginning. I think it's just kind of stupid. Wait, what if I put a normal slab right here, just on top of the window? See, I think I like it more than the one I had before, because the one I had before was just a little boring. But that doesn't mean that I like it necessarily. Oh my goodness, these stairs are going to be the death of me. Yeah, okay, that's better. Then it doesn't have so much like, boom, this is a tiny little wall. So that said, I'm going to put that in right here. And then on the inside, I'm just gonna have to go and actually, maybe I can do it from here. Gives a little bit more interest to the build, which is definitely something that I've learned throughout building so far on these first few days, is that if it is just a plain wall, it's gonna be super boring. Alrighty, here is the build so far. I'm thinking because that was a quicker build than normal, there is actually this other thing that I do want to build. It's not necessarily a house, but I've been super anxious to try to build one because I've never built one before, and I've been thinking about it literally ever since I built that over there, and it might have something to do with the fact that I mentioned building a tree. I've been eyeing this tree on Pinterest that I want to build. It seems super simple, especially for my very first time building a custom tree. But I am very nervous, so please don't judge me if this goes the wrong direction, but I'm going to try my hardest and see if I can even come out with anything that looks natural. I'm sure I can. I'm sure I can. However, it is my first time, and I've been really wanting to since yesterday. So let's do a quick time lapse of me trying to build this tree. Let's go. Oh. Man, I really have no idea what I'm doing. Alright, well, I have absolutely no clue whatsoever what I'm doing, but here is the tree so far. I don't know if I'm going to leave it because I keep on finding little things like this that I can just tweak and different blocks that I can break. Like I can just go into there and break a random block, but I could literally be doing this for hours and hours, and like even looking at it from this angle, it makes me want to try to fill in more here. But I feel like, again, I could literally spend hours on this, like just coming in and breaking a block and being like, yeah, that looks better. And then you go back and place another block, and then you step back and you're like, oh, no, I absolutely hate it again. I feel like it's that way with art all the time, and you're like, Anyways, but I do like the overall silhouette of the tree, so I'm just going to leave that there. Another thing that I have seen people do, though, is make the roots of the trees bigger and almost just like playing that out a little bit. I'm not sure if I really want to include this because the tree itself is a bit of a smaller tree, so the root system wouldn't necessarily be too big. Then again, that's not too terrible. I don't mind that too much, but for the fact that this is a small tree, I think what I'm gonna do is literally just leave it leave it, no pun intended, sorry, leave it like this, and then get some bone meal and just dot that around the place. Another thing that I do a lot in my build battles is if I ever get a natural theme or a building theme, I like to get either coarse dirt or path blocks or podzol or something to kind of frame the bottom of the tree, because again, it's not that big of a tree. It's not going to have a huge root system above ground. I feel like that's more so for the massive bigger trees that have a lot more detail going into it, and that is not this tree. So I like to put the accent block around the tree just to show like, hey, something is underground here, like the root system is underground here, but you can't necessarily see it. And it's just a good detail, so it's not as boring. And there you have it. There is the overall silhouette of the tree. I'm actually kind of obsessed with this. It's not great by any means. I know I've said that a lot, but it's not great by any means. But it is my first ever custom tree, so I'm super excited about that. Definitely will be learning a lot more about how to do them and different like tips and tricks and things like that. So if you have different tips and tricks of how to build nature and how to build custom trees like this, please let me know. I'm more than happy to play with them and read all of your ideas. The very last thing that I always like to do, at least so far, is take a shovel and literally just make a small pathway leading up to the front of where this sign is at, or just like off to the side here, because it gives the build just a little bit more detail, a little bit more attention, and be like, hey, I'm not just a house, I actually am kind of finished. And it gives your brain a better understanding of like, oh, if I were to build this in a survival world, then this is kind of how it would look. And then I like to add these like little details. Every single time it's different. Like last build, I think I used like cobblestone or something like that. But yeah, I like to put these blocks just around the edges to show that this is kind of where the wear and tear is on the path. Maybe the person in this house likes to cut the corner and come to this tree, and so that's why it's worn out a lot right there. Anyway, and then the other thing I like to do is put bone meal or grass or anything like that, just like what we did with the tree, to liven it up a little bit and make it not so this house hasn't been sold yet type feeling. And there you have it. There is the finished house. Let's do a quick fly around really quickly. I'm super obsessed with how this turned out. Yes, it was a quicker build. Yes, it was something that we kind of just took the inspiration from, especially with the chimney, and put it into this build. However, I did learn a lot about how to shape this type of roof, and I'm super excited to play with it in the future if I ever need to, or if it ever comes up. And also building a custom tree for the first time. I'm super happy with how that turned out, even though it's a little bit bigger than I wanted to make it. However, lesson learned. Next time we can do better. And with that, that is day 4 of building a house a day. I'm so happy you guys are along for the journey with me. I cannot wait for what's to come tomorrow. And if you haven't already, go check out days 1 through 3 because I'm sure you will love what I did. And if you haven't already, please go check out days 1 through 3. I'm super happy with how those turned out and learning all of the different things with those. I think, honestly, this is, though, one of my favorite ones just because of how simple and how cute it is and how survival friendly it is. You can literally build this in your survival world in like 10 minutes if you wanted to, and if you had all the blocks, of course. But that said, that is going to wrap it up for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys!